Hello and welcome to an overview of connecting maths concepts. My name is Melina Delianis and I'm an education consultant for McGraw Hill, Australia. How many of you have students who lack confidence and struggle with maths? Students who forget maths concepts and skills shortly after the unit is over, or students who just plain hate maths? Well, maths becomes fun when students can actually do it. And connecting maths concepts will not only enable your students to be successful at maths, but will build their self-esteem at the same time. Connecting Maths Concepts is a 6-level series that accelerates learning performance for students in grades K through 5. Connecting Maths Concepts offers proven methods for building mathematical comprehension. Students learn to understand maths by making connections among related maths topics. And with the inclusion of more oral language development and higher order thinking skills, its approach is balanced and comprehensive. As with all direct instruction programs, it follows the key principles of design, delivery, and documentation. It is designed with explicit teaching practices so the teacher can deliver lessons successfully and students can learn to mastery in the shortest amount of time. Meticulously sequenced content, ample distributed practice and review, and careful scaffolding together with effective teaching techniques enable teaching to mastery. The direct instruction method is not only evidence-based, but it is validated by over 65 years of independent research. Who is the program for? Connecting Math Concepts has been written to meet the needs of all students, including at grade level, advanced and struggling students, as well as English learners. It may be used as a core program, a core replacement program, and in some instances for intervention. Placement tests are used to determine the most appropriate entry level for each student, with an option for an accelerated cycle in levels A and B. Please contact our consultants for a free placement test. McGraw Hill have partnered with Good to Great schools to develop a mapping document that shows how both connecting maths concepts and corrective mathematics meet the standards of the Australian curriculum. Version 9 is used in this document. In addition, Good to Great schools have created freely available Australian content for currency and measurement to swap out the US content. These also align with the Australian curriculum requirements. Materials include swap outs for all teacher presentation lessons, student workbooks, student assessments, and board displays. Please contact us through our Australian website to obtain this document. To run the program, you will need teacher materials and student materials. Your teacher materials are a one-time purchase and come in a sturdy tub that contains your teacher presentation books, the scripted lessons you'll use to teach from, a teacher guide which explains the program and how to implement it, an answer key that provides answers and specifies remedies for each test, and a free 3-year subscription to access online materials via our Connect Ed platform that includes ebooks, interactive whiteboard displays, Blackline Masters, a professional learning environment, and SRA to Inform, a progress monitoring tool that allows you to record data and access automatically generated reports and remediation. Lastly, a series guide is also available, and it's a good idea to have on hand for an overview of all levels. Print student materials consist of student workbooks for daily activities, a student assessment book where all mastery tests are completed every 10 lessons, and a hardcover student textbook, which is a one-time purchase that the school can keep. The student textbook contains further activities that are referred to within each lesson, and therefore it is a necessary purchase. A supplemental student digital license is optional and may be purchased separately. This provides students with their online practice activities and an online version of their student textbook, which may be accessed for homework if classwork is not completed. Here is a snapshot of the number of lessons and the time allotted to teach to directed structured work and independent work. You may notice that independent work increases through the levels as students become more proficient. In a traditional maths program, topics are presented in sequential unit blocks. Students may complete a block on measurement, then a block on geometry, and then a block on fractions. It is not uncommon that a unit on geometry once presented is not seen again until the end of term when it is tested, and then not again until the following year. The problem with this approach is that there is not enough sufficient exposure nor interleaving, so the learning drops off, and it is not retained in long-term memory. New information is not necessarily presented in short takes with ample opportunity for practice between lessons, so students may feel easily overwhelmed and there is no opportunity for cumulative review. In contrast to this approach, Connecting Maths Concepts teaches topics in tracks. A track is a topic that spans over a number of weeks. Each lesson of Connecting Maths Concepts may teach 9 to 7 tracks or topics, showing the interrelatedness of concepts. As can be seen in this scope and sequence, the track that covers word problems commences at lesson 12 and continues all the way through to lesson 76. This provides the requisite amount of revision for content to be mastered by students. Looking down the page at lesson 80, we can also see that a variety of track topics are covered within one lesson. Here the lesson includes counting, place value, money, and geometry, to name a few. This type of interleaving has been shown to improve memory and learning. Students will be working on a little bit of new information in each lesson with explicit modelling and guided practice while practicing several other skills along the way. In basal maths programs, addition is presented by first teaching how to plus by ones, then to plus by twos, then threes, and so on. And then, only after we've learned all of our addition facts do we delve into subtraction facts. When you teach facts that way, there is a disconnect. Students never see the relationship between the numbers. While in level A of Connecting Maths Concepts, students learn count-on strategies, in level B, operations don't involve counting on. Rather, students learn facts. Connecting Maths Concepts presents facts through number families. Students learn that each number family consists of 3 numbers, 2 small and 1 big, that always go together to create addition and subtraction facts. Students learn that when the big number is missing, we add. Then they learn that when the small number is missing, we subtract. This way, students see the correlation between addition and subtraction. Subsequent levels also present multiplication and division facts as number families. Number families is an efficient way for students not only to understand how to add, subtract, multiply and divide, but by level D, to apply these principles to word problems and fractions. The arrow is unique to direct instruction and a great conceptual tool. It is simple and easy to use, and as we move up through the levels, we use this same tool to complete data tables and more complex skills. Here is an example of a word problem that uses the arrow as a conceptual tool. 3 types of word problems are taught: comparison, shorter, taller, start-end, beginning with a quantity and ending with another, and classification problems, vehicles, trucks, cars, etc. The example on your screen is a start-end problem. The students translate the written problem into a number family that has letters and numbers. In this example, Alex started with $18 and ended with $10. Students by now know that the big number goes at the point of the arrow. Alex started with more than he ended up with, so the S goes where the big number ought to be. He ended with a small number, so the E goes along the arrow, where the small numbers ought to be. After swapping out the letters for the number value, the student sees that a small number is missing, and they know from previous learning that subtraction is the operation to use. They can now work the problem. Each lesson contains up to 10 exercises. In the first part of the lesson, teachers will present new learning explicitly in an oral format. Then guided workbook and textbook exercises appear, and this is followed by independent work, which is still closely monitored. The goal of independent work is to provide review of previously taught content. After work is completed, it is checked. Remedies are provided if error rates are too high. Direct instruction programs are designed so that students learn at their ability level, and placing students correctly from the onset provides them with every opportunity to be successful. When students are successful, their self-esteem increases and their attitude towards learning changes, and maths becomes fun. The placement test assists teachers in organising homogeneous groups and knowing which materials to purchase. They are administered individually, and where possible, it is advisable to keep groups to around 10. Instructions for administering, scoring and placing students are found in the teacher and series guides. Should a student score below entry into the program, it is advisable that an oral language program, like Language for Learning, be administered. Completion of the first 40 lessons of Language for Learning is sufficient to then commence Level A of Connecting Maths Concepts. Please consult your education consultant about Language for Learning. Direct instruction provides rules that are crucial to managing a good classroom. Organised seating allows for active monitoring. Having lower performers closer to the teacher enables the teacher to make sure they are paying attention and responding. Assigning permanent seats is a good idea. Teachers are encouraged to move around the classroom when students are working independently to keep an eye on students' work and manage behaviour. Your teacher guide will provide in-depth information on classroom setup and management. The program provides a complete script of each lesson's activities. The scripts have been thoroughly tested to ensure that they communicate concepts clearly, with a consistent language, and are easily understood by students. For you, scripted lessons eliminate time-consuming lesson planning, which means that all your energy can be focused on teaching. For students, scripted lessons provide a consistent lesson structure and language of instruction. Teachers teach content and skills first, and only then test students. This eliminates anxious guessing, and students know what is expected of them. In this way, their self-esteem improves. The script allows for efficiency in learning by keeping time on task. Furthermore, the script contains all the content necessary for a solid knowledge base. Following the script and teaching conventions is vital to the success of the program. We recommend practicing reading the script out loud until it feels more natural. And by all means, put your actor's hat on and bring your energy and personality to the script to bring it to life. On the screen, you will see an example of the script. What the teacher says is in blue type. What the teacher does appears in parentheses, like signalling, repeating a step, or presenting a board display. Student responses are in black italics. 3 letters in a row indicate that the teacher is to hold this sound for more than 1 second. What the student does is in italics and in parentheses. A tick appears as a reminder to observe what the students are doing and give feedback. Have they all opened their workbooks to the right page? Have they all put their pen down when asked? Lastly, responses said together with the students are in bold blue italics. The goal is to teach every student. Therefore, you must receive clear feedback from every student. Consider yourself the conductor of an orchestra, where all the musicians are waiting for your cue to come in. Signalling after a question provides that cue for your students. With a little persistence, your students will all be able to respond together, eliminating leaders and followers and also eliminating droning. You will easily be able to hear errors and set about correcting them immediately. Signals provide much diagnostic information. For example, a weak response suggests that your students may need more help, and it would be wise to repeat an exercise. An incorrect response leads the teacher straight into a correction procedure. There's no waiting till test day any longer to find out what your students do not know. You'll have this diagnostic technique available to you every day while you teach, and be in the strongest position to stop your students from falling through the cracks. To initiate responses at the same time, general rules apply. Talk first, allow for think time, then signal for a response. The type of signal you use will be dependent on where your students' attention is focused. If students are looking at you, a hand drop signal may be appropriate. If students are focused on a workbook task, you will use an audible signal like a clap, a click, or tap your foot. If students are looking at the whiteboard, you may use the point touch signal. Point to the relevant item on the board, then touch it by tapping it with your finger or a whiteboard marker to elicit a response. All signals need to be strong, clear, and consistent. The teacher must make sure that all students respond in unison. After all, the aim is to teach everyone to mastery. If not everyone responds, the teacher treats this as an error and repeats until firm. Students soon realise the expectation is to be taken seriously. Responses must be correct, otherwise we go immediately into a correction procedure. A couple of great benefits of group responses are that they are able to dramatically cut down time in assessing students individually, and the focus is taken off the lower performing students. Everybody makes mistakes. Mistakes provide invaluable information so teachers know about the difficulties students are having. Knowing how to correct effectively is essential to successful teaching. In direct instruction programs, as soon as the teacher hears an incorrect response, they must stop and correct immediately to the group, even mid-sentence. Corrections are specific to the task at hand and always done in a positive manner. Group responses must be correct, or as we say, firm, and the teacher must always bring the group to mastery before moving on. It is recommended that you practice correction procedures so they become automatic. Your teacher guide or series guide will provide detailed information on how to correct specific instances like a student not looking where they should be, not responding, responding before or too long after the signal, or responding incorrectly. The general correction paradigm is for the teacher to stop upon hearing an incorrect response. In a positive manner, the teacher simply models the correct response, then tests the group again. Should additional instruction be required, the teacher will employ the we do strategy. The teacher leads the students as they say the correction together and then tests the students again. Additional repetition is sometimes necessary to bring the group to mastery. Following this, the remaining tasks in the exercise are completed and a delayed test is employed to ensure correction has held firm. The delayed test simply takes students back to the beginning of the exercise. For an additional delayed test, you may complete the following exercise and then come back to check on this correction again. This allows the mind to focus on something else, then be presented with the difficult task to see if the correct answer will be remembered. Individual turns give teachers the opportunity to check that all students are following along, especially the lower performers. After the group is firm on a particular question, the teacher will ask the question again to the whole group and then call randomly on an individual to respond. This way, everyone is still at attention, thinking about the answer, even though only one student is called upon to respond. Individual turns usually appear at the end of exercises. There are several rules to follow. Firstly, present individual turns only after the group is firm on the exercise. Secondly, give most of your individual turns to the lowest performing students. Thirdly, when a student makes a mistake on an individual turn, correct the group, not the individual. Lastly, don't skip individual turns. Pacing is first and foremost important to maintain academic focus. Research has revealed that when teachers slowed their pace, student accuracy dropped and they were off task about 70% of the time. So pacing and the rate of responses is important to the learning and retention of information. You should pace your verbal presentation at a normal speaking rate as if you were telling someone something important. A brisk pace also keeps teacher talk to a minimum and limits off-task behaviour. It also enables more teaching and rate of responses in a given period. However, pacing should not be as fast as you can go, but as fast as the students can go. You have to allow a little extra time to students if needed. Never hurry students into making errors. Never rush to finish the lesson in the allotted time at the expense of firming on each activity. Again, familiarise yourself with the lesson so you can build up your fluency. Within every lesson of Connecting Maths Concepts, students are being constantly assessed during structured lesson time, guided workbook activities, and independent textbook activities. However, there are two types of formal assessments in the program: mastery tests and cumulative tests. Mastery tests appear every 10th lesson and provide you with valuable information on how well each student is performing on the most recent things that they have been taught. Students complete these tests in the student assessment book. Your answer key provides the correct answer and shows the exact working out the students must follow. It also provides the passing criteria for each part of the test, and should the group or a student need, remedies are presented in the assessment book. These are to be completed prior to the next lesson. There are two cumulative tests in each level, one at the halfway point and one at the end. These evaluate critical skills and concepts that have been taught in the first and second halves of the program. As an alternative to print data recording, McGraw Hill offers SRA to Inform as part of your digital subscription. SRA to Inform is a robust progress monitoring tool that allows teachers to record data, monitor progress, generate reports that showcase student growth, or provide remediation where needed. Here we can see data entry from the placement test, mastery test, and fields for cumulative test results. This slide shows mastery test trends for the group. The pass criteria for mastery tests is 85%, and teachers can see at a glance how the group is scoring and who is meeting the criteria. This data allows teachers to help those students who may be struggling by providing remedies to assist in their learning. Remedies can be given to the individual or to the group if group criteria is not met. Here we can see, after the completion of Mastery Test 3, the remedies that are recommended for both the group and individuals. This automated feedback relieves the teacher of precious time spent in analysing data. Here is a report to share with parents. It showcases attendance, independent work, and mastery and cumulative tests in accordance with the passing criteria rate. A quick word on homework. Ideally, all independent work is completed in class. If it is not practical for students to complete the work at school, it may be assigned as homework. However, students are not to tear out their workbook pages and must bring their workbook back to school the following day. Student books are also advised not to leave the class. A student subscription will provide access to the student e-book from home. To avoid pitfalls and teach well right from the start, in-depth training is available through independent trainers listed on our website, mheducation.com.au. For a general overview of the program, please contact your consultant. In addition, a careful read of the teacher or series guides is highly recommended. And don't forget that Connecting Maths Concepts also comes with a professional learning environment as part of your free digital with teacher materials purchase. Some useful resources that may be obtained through McGraw Hill are a fidelity checklist to ensure teachers are implementing the program correctly, a letter to parents to inform them of the benefits of the program their child is undertaking, the teacher-student game that assists with classroom behaviour, mapping, swap out lessons from good to great schools, and the McGraw Hill order form with our most recent pricing. Independent research that spans well over 5 decades supports direct instruction. Both the method and the program have been validated time and time again. With the research behind the science of learning in full support of explicit teaching practices, Connecting Math Concepts, like all DI programs, can boast that not only does it check all the boxes for explicit teaching, but it has the added benefit of carefully selected content that has been masterfully woven into an instructional design that is second to none. Principals looking to invest in an evidence-based program backed by independent academic research ought to feel rest assured that direct instruction programs will deliver. A recent 2020 meta-analysis by Professor Emerita Jean Stockard titled All Students Can Succeed, based on over 500 research reports published over the last 50 years, the largest meta-analysis of any single method of instruction ever published, details clearly that direct instruction's effectiveness is consistent over time and that the effects are substantially stronger than those reported for other curricula. Please contact your consultant for research papers on Connecting Maths Concepts or visit the nifty website shown on the slide. If you wish to learn more about the direct instruction method underpinning all our programs in literacy and numeracy, please visit our McGraw Hill website or go to the website for the National Institute for Direct Instruction, or ask your consultant about the documents you see on the screen. Thank you kindly for your attention throughout this presentation. On behalf of McGraw Hill Australia, we wish you a very successful implementation of Connecting Math Concepts and look forward to hearing from you.